Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. There are a great many axe collectors in the world, and I have enough axes that I'm right on the shaving edge of being a collector. There are some definite differences though. I use these axes. I'm gonna chop up that tree over there with some of them. Some of them are just one-time users. You know, you have a special use for them and that's what you do with them. Others, yeah, I'll admit, I got one in there. It's just too cool. So let's take a look at each one. This one here on the end is a plum axe, a New England pattern. And this came from my father-in-law, who I never met. He died before I met Lydia. But when I needed to cut down a tree, my mother-in-law, Audrey, gave me that axe, because I didn't have an axe at the time. I'd had an axe as a young man, but it got left at my parents' house, and when they moved, it got lost. Don't know where it went. Somebody might have taken it. Somebody might have had it given to them. Who knows? A lot of my things disappeared that way. This one is a Craftsman. Yep, it's a Craftsman. Has a straight handle. A little swell at the end to stop your hand from slipping off. I like these deerfoot handles better. They're a little easier to swing. This one, I have no idea what it is. It's just a nice axe that was really ugly looking, and I had a belt sander, and I wanted to try the belt sander. So I started polishing a spot on the axe head, and next thing you knew, it looked like this. So I had to put it on a handle. And there it is. This one is a Boy Scout axe. It's a plum Boy Scout axe. It's really a hatchet, but a hand axe, hatchet, come see, come saw. This one is just cool. This is Buell's hand forged from Detroit, Michigan. Look at that maker's mark stamped into that pawl on the thing. It is just awesome. This is a carpenter's hatchet. It's designed to hew down the side of a piece of wood and make it flat. It's like a big chisel that you swing. And when I found that one, sitting on the bench next to it was this one. And somebody had welded this to a handle. Yeah, I don't know why. It was an ugly looking thing. I didn't have a handle to fit it because it's really an axe head. So I put an axe handle in it and cut the axe handle off and turned it into a hatchet. I think this is more of a carpenter's axe. It's a little bigger than the Buell. Kind of neat. Not real fond of this handle, but it works. This one was the first hatchet that I had here at the house. Now I've had lots of hatchets in my life, but like I said, they all came up missing. This one is an OVB, our very best. And it's a special kind of hatchet. It's a lath hatchet, not a lathe. It doesn't have an E on the end of it. It's lath. Used to make wood strips, just rough sawn wooden strips, about 1.5 inches wide to 2 inches wide, and maybe 1/4 to 3/8, 5/16 thick. And they nailed that to the inside of the houses Then they put plaster over the top of it to make lath and plaster walls. Well, this was used to chop the lath down so that it would fit in between the places it had to go. You could drive the nails in, you could pull it, pull the nail out if you needed to. It was a nice little hatchet. This one is a special bugger. This one is for setting shingles. Cedar shakes shingles. Split wood shingles. I've never used it. I have it. I intended to put split cedar shingles on top of the workshop, but it just never happened. Now this one is an interesting thing. It's very similar to this hatchet. This carpenter's hatchet. It's flat on one side, just like this one is flat on one side. This one was made to flatten the sides of beams, hand-hewn beams. Now this one is just a cool axe because it's a double bit axe. This again is a plumb. I have 3 plumb hatchets. Very cool, nicely made, well balanced, strong, sturdy, nicely done. Now I've heard lots of theories about why axes are made with 2 heads. One was that one side is left slightly dull with a flatter bevel on it so that it's a little stronger. The thin one, which is the side on this one where it says plumb, that is for actually chopping down trees, and then the other side is for where you might hit into a knot or something a little tougher to cut through. That way it won't chip the edge. This one I have no idea who made it. It's big. I don't know if it hasn't been sharpened down or it's just a different brand, because it has the same shape as the plumb, but it's not stamped plumb. At least not so far as I can tell. This one came from a garage sale. Cost an awesome price of $5. So that's my hatchets and axes, both double bit and single bit. How many of them do you guys have? I got enough to cover pretty much all the picnic table, and I only use one at a time. But these axes each have a specific use. Want to start a fire in the woods? Not much better than this for lopping up some firewood, kindling to start a fire. Want to cut down a chunk of tree branch into a square peg? This will do it. It'll also make boards out of tree trunks. This one does a better job. But when you get down to the final finish, this little guy, it'll clean it right up. Same thing for this one. We already talked about this one. You want to put plaster walls in a house, you can't beat this axe. For shingles, this one will split a shingle down to size. It has a little gauge on it that tells you exactly where the shingle is going to bottom out at, so that you have them all spaced out perfectly. This guy It'll flatten the side of a beam faster than you can walk. And these are just really cool axes. So those are my axes. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.